Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Align, where we help you align with your true self, others, and your desired outcome to live your best life. So today we have Mama Lana on, who I met serendipitously last week at a random dinner where your friend Taurus is his name, right? Taurus. My friend Leith were like, hey, like come together, come to like a mingle dinner outside, obviously COVID friendly. And I was at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. And we sat across each other and it was like
instant
divine
I'm
timing.
so happy.
I'm so excited. And so anyone that knows me well knows that I don't like the misconception that like models are dumb. And like I have a lot of model friends who are very intelligent, sweet people, like men or women. And I just want to dispel this myth that like models are just, there's nothing up there, right? So who best than to bring on Mama Lana, who models, God, over like 90 top models, both men and women. So welcome. Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. It's so
awesome. I love it. So first and foremost, how did you get into this role?
Okay, so that's like kind of a crazy story because I was actually an actress, and that's all I've ever wanted to do in my life is be an actress since I'm like 4 years old. All I can remember is I want to act, and I went to acting classes, and I've done all that stuff. And actually, one day I decided to move to LA. Thought it was going to be forever to pursue my acting. I had an agent out there and everything. Weird thing is, the 6 months prior to me moving to LA, I started meeting like everyone from the fashion industry, whether they were agents, whether they're photographers, top models, stylists, you name it. It's just kind of, it was just like falling into my lap. I don't know. I was like, every person I was meeting was in the fashion industry. So I kind of started hanging out with them and that whole world. And like a sponge, I absorb everything. So I kind of really learned about the business just by hanging out with these people. And it turned out that I started having a really good eye for talent.
Mm.
It was to the point where even the seasoned best agents of the time would listen to me if I say, you need to take on this model. I see that they can do some really, really great top things. That being said, I still moved to LA. I was there for 4 months, kind of had that LA loneliness, even though I met amazing people and I was with people every single day, other fellow actors that were actually already working and were on shows on TV and everything, but just still kind of, I'm a New Yorker, so the LA vibe is cool to visit for me, but being there full time on a daily was just, I don't know, for some reason it was just, I felt it was so fake, and I'm not used to fake being from New York. Yeah. It's a different, mentality over there. Like they tell you, oh, let's have lunch. Sure, Wednesday at 1. And then you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
You're the one that asked me to go to lunch, you know?
I'm with you. That's frustrating.
So that wasn't working for me. So I came back to New York, literally decided to come back to New York in one night. Wow. I just like that one night, I was like, you know what, tomorrow I'm getting on a plane. I am getting out of here. That's just how I am. I'm very like impulsive, and I kind of, I don't like to plan. I just kind of like to, whatever I think is good at that moment, I kind of just go with it. Did that, came back here. And of course, I'm like dry out of money because I spent all that money moving to LA. You know, obviously I was there to be an actress. So I wasn't like working. I was just going on auditions and stuff like that. So back with my friends here, my fashion friends and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what, maybe I should just try to maybe start and work in the fashion industry. And one of my friends actually offered me a job to come and open up an agency with him. So, well, a division, they had the women's division. They wanted us to open up the men's division. So I did that. And he was one of the top, agents in New York. I did that. And within 6 months, we had one of the top men's divisions in New York City. So that's how I started. And like I said, I already was so seasoned by always hanging out with these people that it just came like second nature to me. It's just everything just fit. I worked with that agency, then I went to work at a couple of other agencies, and then finally I just said, you know what? I can do this better. And
Mm,
that's when I just decided to open up my own agency.
yeah.
And that was that.
I love, by the way, I know you said you don't really plan things, but you're very decisive. And I think that's what, in my opinion, that's one of the qualities of why you're so successful, right? Because whether it be like you have an eye for talent, you could just see the vision ahead before anyone else. And when you're like, you know what, LA's not for me, most people, right, would be like, oh, let me mull over it. Like, no, you were like, I'm out. It's
I'm
been,
out.
like
Out.
a
One night,
traffic.
I'm out.
But that leap, because starting your own business, obviously is not easy by any means. And I'm sure even this was like at least what, 10 years ago?
I
How
have
many?
a better one for you. I
How-
started my own business right after September 11th when people were closing businesses and everyone was scared. Again, I just leaped.
I
I
love it.
didn't even think about it. That's what I wanted to do. Because I think if I would have really thought about it, I would have not done it because who's opening up a business after September 11th? Only like you have to be crazy. Well, I just did it. And then I started actually in a little room, like I rented an office. It was literally the size of like, I can't even explain, like a little room with 2 desks, 2 computers and a couch.
Love it.
That's how I did it. And in that building, they allowed you to move to bigger offices whenever you wanted to, even though like let's say you signed a 2-year lease, but you could they would allow you to grow. And
That,
with 6 months, obviously that I outgrew that room
yeah.
and moved into a bigger space in that building and so on and so on until I moved to another building where I was from then till now.
Mm,
So, and then became like half a floor the office became like half a floor of a building. So
I love it. So it sounds like, which I admire so much. You just had the vision and you just knew you could do it better. So you're like, you know what? I'll take the first step and I'll figure it out as we go.
yes,
Love it.
it was tough, I won't lie. It was really, really tough, but at the same time, very exciting. And I work hard. I'm a worker.
Yeah.
Anyone that knows me, they actually, even my best friends are just like, I could be in Ibiza on vacation and I'm still working. And
Yeah.
they're like, are you insane right now? They're like, what are you? I'm on my laptop and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm working.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now? Like you're in Ibiza. Hello, it's August.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, no, 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 no. It's just, I can't help myself.
Yeah. I love it.
I
That's
love to make a deal.
awesome. Super helpful. So now I want you to kind of walk through, like, obviously you've managed, some of the top supermodels, a lot of them actually. What separates the models from the supermodels?
Okay. So I think that, first of all, obviously you have to have the genetics and what the clients are looking for. That's the first step. But that's not the final step by any means, because like I always say, you can get them to book you once, but it is the models that are constantly being asked for and the repeat business.
Mm.
Those are the ones that succeed and those are the ones that become supermodels when everybody is screaming, when you're not even reaching out to the clients, they're calling you, we want her, we want him, we want her, we want him, that's when that model has made it. They're doing something right.
Yeah. Let's break that down because I
Yeah.
really feel like success is a formula. It's an art and a science, but we can control a little bit of both, right? So we talked about this a little bit where the baseline is obviously looks, like you have to fit, right? But so many more steps to become supermodel is personality.
Personality. That is absolutely, because you have to understand they're going on set and they're spending, 8, 10, 12 hours with this model.
Yeah.
You want to be excited. Everybody they don't want someone to just, oh, they're beautiful and they're sitting there like a wallflower, like, oh, they're so beautiful. It needs to be something exciting. We all want to be excited. You want to go into your office or I want, there's something that needs to excite us about our jobs and about, so personality. I always say like there's sometimes people ask me, well, like this girl is so gorgeous or this guy is so gorgeous. Why aren't they doing as well as this one over here who they don't even think is good looking.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Let me tell you.
people that are not in the industry always ask me those kind of questions because, they're like, I don't understand, but like, she's so beautiful or he's so beautiful. And I'm like, well, yes, they are beautiful, but they just don't have that second, other element, which is this grand personality that when they walk into a room, the energy and the vibe that they give off to everyone, they're just missing that aspect of it.
I love it. And dig a little bit deeper, personality.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's confidence, it's owning yourself, right? But like, what other elements do you think makes a good model personality? And people want to shoot you, reshoot you.
Fun, professional.
Yes, thank you.
You need to be professional. If you can, let's say you're booked for 10 hours, let's say, and you can get that done in 7 and everybody can go.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to book that model?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So a little bit different angle. What are the biggest pitfalls that you see that doesn't allow a model to become a supermodel, no matter how beautiful, personality, whatever they have, all the boxes are checked, but they still can't make it? What's the biggest pitfall?
It's them being insecure, and it's also them not being consistent.
Okay.
Consistency as a model is very, very important. You need to keep the measurements. You need to constantly take care of yourself, take care of your skin. That's all that's asked from you, is basically,
Maintain.
all the time, and be ready for it at any time, because you never know when your break is, when that big client is calling and they're asking for you. Our business is like, I don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow's Monday. We're starting the new week. Anything, any client can call for any month. Like, it's just so spontaneous. This business, like, there's no plan in sense of like, you just never know when you're going to get that call. I'm saying for the model. So they have to be on point always. They can't think, oh, it's August, it's supposed to be a slow month, so I'm just, going to eat, and I'm just like not going to go to the gym this month. I'm just going to kind of relax and, pretend I'm on vacation. You cannot be on vacation. As a model, you are never on vacation. You always have to be ready. Doesn't matter what month it is. It just doesn't matter. And I don't think that they understand. And it's a business. And I think that a lot of the times, a lot of the models, when they start, they don't understand that this is a business, just like finance is a business. This is a business. At the end of the day, it's all about money. People are spending, big amounts of money to do these shoots, to promote their brands. It's a business. And I just think that's a problem, because for that to sink into some of the models when they start, it takes a while. Like, they think that this is so much fun. We're like modeling. Yeah, it's a business. So you got to be on top of your game.
And then super helpful. And then hit on the insecurity part that stops people from becoming.
It's just really funny to me, because some of the most beautiful girls, guys that I've ever met have been some of the most insecure people that I've ever met. So it's a misconception when anyone thinks that just because a person is so good looking, that they're so secure and they're so happy and they're so, they have issues. The most beautiful people in the world have lots of issues, just like every other person. They're people, they're still human. And some of them don't even understand or see how beautiful they are. Like, we'll look at them and we'll be like, oh my God, they're like stunning and beautiful. They don't look at themselves like that. They have a lot of insecurities. Oh, I don't think I look good. Like, I'll have some of my most beautiful girls, they don't want to FaceTime me, like, I don't look good. I'm like, there's no way that you don't look good, because you're just perfectly beautiful. I don't care. They're just it. And I think the pressure on them, because of the industry too, that they're supposed to be so, they're perceived as these perfection specimens and stuff like that. There's a lot of pressure on someone too. So it makes them even more insecure. For the girls, there's such competition out there. I feel like the competition out there has gotten to a point, and lately, because of all the plastic surgery things and this and that, I feel like all these young girls starting at 17, I've seen girls at 17, 18 years old, starting with all these, I need my lips bigger. And this wasn't the case like back in the day. That was like, very few and far between. Now I feel like it's all because the competition is so insane. And how does, how does one at 22 when you're a female compare to the 18 when the 18 is already getting all these enhancements? You know what I mean? Like it just becomes this like cycle, and it's everyone's going crazy, I think.
Interesting. And I think back when I was growing up, right? I think the ideal woman or the ideal look was always like that Victoria's Secret model look, where like you're busty and curvy in all the right areas, and then you're just like whoop in everything else, right? But I've noticed a change, and obviously it's much more done intentionally within the industry. There's a lot more diversity now.
Yes.
Right? So I would assume the girls would actually be more like, you could be a fit model, you can be a runway model. Like there's so many buckets. I'm actually shocked to hear that people are getting surgery even younger now. And I'm like, you're welcome to be a little bit like, the range of beauty is so much bigger now. So
Yeah.
I'm just surprised to
But
hear that.
again, they're looking at social media and the fakeness that's on there.
Yep.
And that's their inspiration. And it's really, really sad because that's, and they're, to me, some of the times, I mean, they go so much overboard that they don't even look human or natural, and they actually were prettier before. I've even seen it with actresses.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I'm like,
Actresses that I thought were stunning and gorgeous, and I don't know what happened to them. And they're still young ones. I'm talking about the young ones. And I'm just like, why?
yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, especially now you can literally tweak. I mean, we joked around about this. Why do we even need a model to look perfect when you could just tweak the entire body and the face, add the makeup, change literally every body part? Boop, here's your picture. Why is there a need? Like, I don't get it. But go ahead. What were you guys saying?
Go ahead.
How has the industry, and obviously you pretty much raised here, right? Your career started here. How has that affected your ideas of confidence and insecurities and value and your worth, right? You're always around such beautiful people, and you see that not everyone that's beautiful is happy, feels worthy. And you also have kids. You have a son and a daughter, right? And you've modeled both sexes. So how does it affected or impact the way you raise your children about like how they feel worthy or loved or confident about themselves?
I have, I mean, even as a kid, I've never been a follower.
Mm.
I've always been the leader. So whenever even I just remember even, because I spent some time when I was from around 5 to 10, I spent time in Baltimore, Maryland. That's where my family like lived before we moved to New York. So I just remember even them bringing kids home from school when I was 8, and I was telling them what game we're going to play. Like it was just like I was always the leader, and I kind of instilled that in my daughter and my son. And they've always been around people. They grew up around the agency, so they're not shy. Neither one of them are shy. They're very outspoken.
Right.
And very intelligent because they grow up basically around adults. So they've experienced and seen a lot. And the way I even raise my kids is like so open. I don't kind of shield them from anything. I don't believe in that. I think there's so much going on in the world, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it and make it that it's pretty, like, it's not Candyland. This world is not Candyland. And I think that it's completely wrong to pretend to your children that it is, because they're going to have a shock and they are going to not be able to handle it. And I think when you prepare them and explain the reality of what's going on in this world, and I think that it makes them stronger people, and I think that they can take on anything.
Yeah, I love that. Let's talk a little more about the sense of self-worth or your value, right? So you're called Mama Lana for
Yes.
a lot of your
I
clients.
love it. I love being called Mama Lana.
Mama
So many years of Mama Lana, and I love taking care of people. That's probably I mean, it's a great thing, but at the end of the day, I sometimes forget about myself.
Yep.
And I don't have that other person to take care of me. So it becomes a little bit crazy because here I am taking care of everyone, my friends, my models, but that's just like, it's in my nature. Like I can't help it. Like if you come to me with a problem, I'm going to be there for you. I just love people. I'm very, very, like, I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And I love helping people. And for me, it's been so great with the modeling. My favorite thing about it has been to take something from nothing and to make it grow like a flower, like plant the seed and like watch it grow and change people's lives. And when I see that I've changed their lives and they're able to, not only have I changed their lives, they've been able to help their families, and
Yeah.
they've been able to have these lives that they would have never have had because they come from, like, these small little places
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And when I see that, I was a part of, doing that and changing their life, that is honestly the most fulfilling thing to me about what I do.
I love that. Yes, the way you describe it, taking something, watching it grow. I mean, it's funny because it reminds me of, like, for example, in like finance or private equity, you're taking a company, you're injecting value into it, right? And you're eventually letting it, sell it off or let it fly. If you think about what Mama Lana does to give people value, I'm sure it is a lot of, like, you're essentially 24/7 their, like, therapist, right?
24/7 therapist, 24/7. That is absolutely correct. Not an hour off.
How would you, what would you say are, like, the common, not themes, or common, like, lessons, or like the things that you would tell them and educate and teach them to keep them sane, keep them ahead in the game, and like make them feel like I have a sense of value and a worth. And even though my industry, of course, a lot of it's based on looks, there's a lot more to it. So how do you instill that into them?
I tell them, do not ever compare yourself to any other model. That is the first thing. Unless you have someone who is your twin brother or sister that's identical to you, acts identical to you, and you're just completely the same person, you can't, the worst thing you can do is ever compare yourself to another model.
Yeah.
They have something amazing, you have something amazing. You cannot compare yourself. I always tell them that they need to stay busy. They need to have a hobby. They need to have something else to do, because there's a lot of downtime in this industry. There's a lot of time that, you won't be working, or there won't be castings. You need to have something that you love. I can't, and they're like, well, what can that be? I'm like, I don't know. You need to figure that out, because I'm not you. I don't know what you like to do. It has to be something that you're passionate about, that you love to do. Find what that is and incorporate that into your life as well. Whether it be drawing, whether it be, I don't know, writing, whatever it is. And also, I always tell them, when you're 18, it's great. You kind of never know what you really want to do in your life and what you want to be. But, the ones that are getting like a bit, even though they're doing great modeling and they're making great money, but what's the next step? Like, what are you going to do with yourself? You're going to turn 35. What's the plan? Like, you can't model forever. Nobody can. I mean, you can still do stuff, even, when you're in your 40s and stuff, there will be jobs, but at the end of the day, you need to have, chapter 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always talk to them about that too. I talk to them about saving money. I talk to them about buying property. There's been times where a lot, like, models have done so well, they come from nothing. They've done so well. All this money is being thrown at them. And, they end up basically spending it. Nobody knows on what, because at the end of the day, there's nothing to show for it. And I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars gone with, not by buying property, not by investing in anything, not by just, I'm like baffled. And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, this is, you're lucky that you have this right now. And like, you need to be smart with your money. And, I, and that's what I tell all the models. And some of them, thank God, listened to me,
Yeah.
and some didn't, and ended up in, bad situations. Fortunately, learned from those situations and were fortunate enough to make money again.
Yeah.
And so they're good, and they're doing what I said.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy, because I've seen models just like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on just like
Oof.
sneakers.
Yeah.
And just like garbage, like
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, I mean, because I think about, like, if you come from nothing or little to nothing, right? You're not used to all this money.
No, you're not.
And it's sometimes, like, if you feel like there's a part of you where, like, well, this is where I came from. And if I all of a sudden grew to have all this success and money, I might no longer be accepted by my family or my older tribe. Like, there's a few mindsets of, let me just get rid of it, right? Like, I'm just gonna spend it. Or secondly, like we talked about it, you get sucked up into this new city and you're like, I need to buy the things to differentiate myself, right? Like, oh, like how do I have more a sense of self-worth or value? Let me buy things and like wear it from head to toe and make me feel like now I'm separated from all the other
I
models,
think
right?
the second one I think is like more correct as to how they think. They just like all of a sudden, you know, want to be fabulous and like live buy these things and like show off actually to the friends back home and like and it's sad because like they could be doing so much more. They can be doubling that money and like actually being smart about it and investing. And unfortunately, it's a lot of models are like that. There's been so many top models, and not even ones that I've represented, but just in general in the industry, even from back in the day. I see now like they were like supermodels back in the day, and they're just nowhere and doing nothing and have nothing. And it's just like crazy to me because I know how successful they were and like what they could have done with the money that they made back then. And it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I see this common theme too, like not even like in modeling, in fashion, even in like finance and consulting, right? If you think about it, there that art of comparison, that measuring stick is so dangerous, right? Like whether in modeling, you're like, oh, I don't like this person has a better nose than me or a better like set of legs than me, and like in finance, it's like, oh, this guy makes way more money than I. It's always just like a rat race. Like you're always on a treadmill running to go nowhere, right? That I feel like until people figure out, like you really have, to your point, Lana, you have your unique gift and skill set and in attributes, own that. And you're not supposed to look, that's why you have a unique DNA. You're not supposed to look and
Unique, unique. Actually, that little bump that was on your nose before made you actually more unique and more attractive than now you look like every other person with like the same nose that every other person has. And
act.
has it's a little, yeah, I know. I know the unique is missing from today. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And I just feel in general across every industry, I feel kids should be taught investing and saving in school. Like no one ever, I mean, I grew up in finance and literally I never took a class, like I never was, I learned about it. Like personal investing was not a class. Why not? Or things like, for example, doing taxes. You think everyone in our industry knows how to do it? Like no, right? So I feel like if people who are in the industry don't even have necessarily always the expertise when you first graduate, what about everyone else in every other industry, right? So I feel like I think it's awesome as Mama Lon that you do it. I feel as a society we do a better job of like, first of all, why are we learning about things that don't matter? I'd rather learn about things that are much more practical.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Biggest misconception about modeling, what would it be?
Well, everyone that I meet that doesn't know anything about this industry is always like, oh my, when they ask me what I do and I tell them, oh my God, that's so much fun.
Yeah.
That's such sounds so glamorous and so much fun. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
it's it's a business and it's hard work. And like I said, I work 24/7 and there's a lot of dramas and a lot of stuff I need to constantly be fixing, whether it's because like, a model is not well or didn't do something or you know clients that are causing chaos that day. It's a very very stressful industry.
Yeah.
Like I can't stress enough how stressful it is. I am stressed all the time. How about that? I don't find the glamour in the stress. Okay.
What do you think it is drives you then to stay? And I mean, you clearly love it.
I love it. um I love it. And like I said, I really, really love helping people. And if this is the way that my life path is, this is the way it's taken me and this is the way I can help people, then, and it's been good to me. And it's like, it's been going really, really well. But I'm the type of person, like I always like to find out about different things and I need to be kept on my toes, meaning like this, I feel like there's even a bigger picture here. I won't discuss it on this podcast, maybe on the next one that we do, it'll
Woo!
be part two.
I love it. Look at you in the marketing, building that.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing, but this I don't feel is the end. I feel this is only the beginning, and this is the good ground platform to bigger things to come.
I love it. Ah, I'm getting chills. I'm excited. Um, Last question is, obviously you vie for talent, right? That's how you got to where you are. But there has to be a lot more than that for you to partner with literally a lot of the supermodels and top supermodels, right? What do you think it is that separates Mama Lana's way of doing things, how you treat people, how you conduct your business that like enabled you to partner and keep a lot of this
Okay.
talent, right?
I have a couple of answers to that. The first thing is that when I meet, I keep my agency very boutique, which is very rare because most of the agencies, most of the top agencies around the world and in New York City have humongous boards, like hundreds and hundreds of models. That is something that I never wanted to do because I don't believe that that works, because you're never going to have hundreds of models work and you're never going to be able to pay attention to hundreds of models. And I'm about managing, like I really want to take you from A to Z. So when I meet a model for the first time and, they want to join my agency, in the first, I would say 3 minutes that of speaking to them, my mind just goes, and I'm like, if there's no up here of like, I see this person in, working for this brand, that brand, if I can't figure out what I would do with this person, I would not take them on, no matter like what they look like. The second thing is, again, goes to the personality. If I'm sitting there and maybe I have the, so I'm like, this brand would love them, this brand would love them, this, but the personality is just off. And I feel like I can't connect to you. And I can connect to anyone and everyone, no matter where you came from, no matter what. That's like part of something. I love everybody from all,
Paris.
Yes. So I'm like, I just can't, and I'm trying to find that connect because I'm obviously interested in them already in the business aspect. I could see what I would do with them, where I would push them, which brands I would push them to. But then I'm like sitting there and trying to have this conversation and it's just not vibing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, in my boutique agency, it would be a no.
Got it. Got it.
The reason why I've been able to keep the models that I do take and all the dots fit together, I think it's, again, there's a reason why my nickname is Mama Lana, and I'm not the one that gave it to myself. They did. And it's because I literally am there for them, for all of it, not just booking them jobs. I'm there for them as a friend, as a mama, as as an advisor, as a psychiatrist, everyone, my whole team, we treat everyone like family. We are like family. Yeah. We are able to pay attention to everyone because we keep a boutique and because it's a small board. So we're actually, we can manage them. We don't have to say yes to every single job that comes in because we need to make that money. We can actually grow them in the right way and refuse a lot of stuff that they should not be doing at that point. So it all kind of, fits together, but I think it's just a family approach at the agency.
Yeah. And I would say, so when I met you at dinner, you also brought Christian, who is one of your models. And
yeah. He's 29.
What?
I've had him since he's 17 and now he's 29.
Wow, exactly. Like, and I could definitely even like the way he spoke about it and like the energy and I would say the chemistry between you two, it was so clear. Like it was definitely like mama bear and he was like your little baby that you've nurtured the way through. But I had to say, like, my friend and I were literally laughing nonstop because like Christian has so much personality. He's so funny. He's like self-deprecating, right? Like he's obviously beautiful, but there's so much more to him that like I'm like, wow, I'm sure like all your models have that like spunk.
Yes, yes. And it's very, very important. And that's why they've lasted in the industry as long as they have. It's because they are like that.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm referring to when I say they need to have that personality.
Right, right. I love it. Like the bigger, the larger than life, and you kind of
yes. You need to. They need to keep everyone laughing. See, they kept you and your friend laughing.
Oh God, yes. I literally were like, we could not stop. Like, I ripped a few abs along the way from dinner, but Mama Lana, thank you so much. Like this was so helpful to get at least have a glimpse, a deeper glimpse into the world where, hey, it's not all just beauty and butterflies, right? It's not Candyland.
Candyland.
It's a lot of brain work, a lot of strategy, and it's so helpful for people
A
to
lot of work. It's a
a lot
lot
of
of
work. But it's not like, for me, it's like, it's not just like mindless work. Like every move you make, you are very strategic,
Yes.
right? You were
Yes.
just grinding for grinding's sake. Like every move had a reason for it, and you're very thoughtful in building your business. So
Absolutely.
I want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I'm so excited for so much more. Like you have not only the vision, but I always believe that people can only be successful if great, you have the vision. You have that like gritty drive that you're just like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it.
Can do it. Yes.
I love it. So one last question I always ask is, I think everyone, you agree with me, everyone has a unique gift. What do you think your unique gift is to the world?
Oh, I don't know. My heart.
Come on.
My heart.
Your heart. Ooh, I love that.
My heart. I really care about people, and the people that I know and are around me are just, I really truly love them, and I would always be here for them. And I always have the best intentions for everyone, have never been jealous of anyone. I want everyone to succeed. I really, really do. I think we could all just help each other to succeed. You know, my heart, that's all.
And I can't wait for you to meet my girls. And we've talked about this too, where for me, I
The girl gang, the girl gang,
oh gang, gang.
the girl gang.
Yes,
Yes.
like we all came together because we've dealt with insecurities, like other women's insecurities, comparisons, jealousy, and we've all gotten screwed over by our girlfriends that were like,
My whole life I've been screwed over by my girlfriends. That's why most of my best friends are gay men.
listen, but hey, it works, right?
It works. It works. I've tried. I mean, since I'm like 13 years old, I've been screwed over by girlfriends. It's just, and I give them my heart. I feel like this is like my family, my sister, and then they would just really, really, really screw me over. I try. I love women. Like I love women. Like when I met you and your friend, and I was just like, wow, I couldn't stop talking. Like, you know, Christian and I could not stop talking about you guys. I'm like, we're so happy that we actually came out, which I don't do too often during this pandemic, but it's just been so depressing. And, you know, just working and sitting and looking, you know, at the ceiling is what I do.
Yeah.
Basically, when I'm home, like, I couldn't believe that there's actually people out there,
Yeah.
and people that are still here in New York. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like you two really made that night worth it. And I was just so happy that I met you. And I definitely plan for us to, you know,
Rendezvous.
rendezvous.
I love it. No,
Yeah.
you'll love the girls. I can't wait. I just think it's so important for women to support each other, to your point. Like we all have a unique gift. Like, and if you put it all together, it becomes a larger puzzle piece, right? But it takes very confident, strong women who can handle another confident, strong woman. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm
Yes.
super
And I
excited.
love it. Bring the confident, strong women on.
Oh, let's do it. Awesome. Lana, thank you so much. And I will definitely see you soon.
Yes, definitely. Mwah.
Bye, Lana.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Of course.